Hello guys, welcome for our brand new vlog, already famous one, I guess. Today we'll be covering a few topics around new regulations coming for cloud services, around new players ramping up in the market, and about older players trying to make some bold move to gain some market shares in the cloud services. So we'll start with the new regulation which is coming in Europe this year. We already talked about that in our last vlog for the end of the year, but we think that's something important enough for us to talk about it another time here, and it's the GDPR regulation.
So, the second topic would be about the emergence of Alibaba's cloud as a top 5 cloud storage provider. So these guys have kind of burst into the ranking for the first time, and Alibaba as a company, we all probably know, is very aggressive. So for me personally, it's no surprise that they are growing pretty quickly. I think we have spoken to guys from Alibaba. We do support the Alibaba Cloud in our standalone products currently. So
we do.
We've had a conversation with these guys, and basically, they call themselves the AWS of Asia. First and foremost in China, and then they cover Asia as a region as well. And their strongest market is obviously China, where they're doing pretty well, and they're now trying to take that domestic success and take it international.
Because if we are looking at AWS, for example, in China, they're not doing good, and Azure is Azure or Google. So.
So it's definitely interesting. They have a pretty aggressive strategy. They have about I think it's 14 data centers outside of China currently. They only have 2 in the US, but from what I understand, they'll be growing in the US as well. So it's definitely something that's really interesting to see, because in the top 5, I think that realistically they're chasing Google right now, even though they still have a way to go. But I think that if they're going to go after anybody right now, it would not be AWS, it would rather be Google. So definitely interesting to see how that goes. And also, we live in a crazy world today, so
We do.
you never know what would happen. Because
and plus, I heard they're about to double the number of data center within the next year or 2. So I mean, that's a huge step forward, really.
And I mean, it's also interesting to see how they can break into the US market. And I kind of remember the analogy, the problems that Huawei is having right now in the US.
In Europe as well, by the way.
Well, in Europe it's less. It's more in the US, where you've got recommendations from the security agencies against working with such Chinese companies, because they feel that there's a certain level of affiliation with the Chinese government. So it's interesting to see how they're able to grow in their Western markets. At least from what we're seeing right now, they're pretty aggressive, and they look like they will be successful. So it's great to keep an eye out on that and see how much progress they make and how they do it exactly. But in any case, we support Alibaba Cloud today, and you can feel free to test it and see how it works.
We heard a lot, and we see some movement on Azure side of things in the cloud market, where Azure is trying to take over customers which are using currently services like Dropbox, Box, or Google Cloud, by offering free service, OneDrive business for those guys. during the time of their current contract with their competitors. So basically, if you have an ongoing contract with Google Cloud, I don't know, till December this year, you can switch now to OneDrive for Business, and you will have it for free till December of this year. So that's kind of strong sign, and it's it's free. So I guess that many people will take this opportunity.
Yeah, but you do have to take that with a grain of salt, because it's free, but basically the offer is you don't have to pay for the remainder of your existing contract with the competition. So yeah, whenever that runs out, it runs out. But I look at it more as kind of a marketing pitch that they are making, and we live to see. I mean, now we saw the announcement around Dropbox now supporting G Suite and so on. So there's a level of integration and partnerships going on. Everything is kind of moving fast in the industry. So this is one of those things where it would make sense for some people, it would not make sense for others. But all the same, it's definitely that's something interesting, and we'll see how it goes, because as I said, Dropbox and Google have announced their partnership. I think they have another partnership lined up with Box as well. So that, there's a lot of I would say cross-platform integration going on. So yeah, this is one.
Yeah, and plus on this exact offer, I think there is a minimum commitment, like around 500 users must sign in for OneDrive. So I mean, not all the players will be able to get on board with this new offer. So yeah, I agree with you, Alex. I think it's more of a marketing things than anything else. But it's working because we heard about it and we are talking about it here. So I mean, that's probably the main focus.
Yeah. So the next thing, I guess, is everything Apple is. There's always a lot of speculation because they are so secretive. They have kind of super crazy NDAs that they have all of their partners signed. So this is from one side a rumor, but more or less you can call it confirmed. So it turns out that Apple may no longer be using Microsoft Azure, and it looks like they're using more and more of Google Cloud at the moment, which to me is funny on many levels, because Apple and Google have a great rivalry. They sue each other once a year. They sign new deals, they cancel deals, and so on. So it's interesting. I'm not sure what Microsoft did to kind of to lose them, but it looks like at least in 2011 Apple was still using Azure and AWS, but now it looks like they're using Google Cloud more and even using AWS less. So yeah, everything Apple is always very interesting. But for me, it's I recently had the I would say pleasure of switching mobile platforms from Android to iOS. I got an iPhone, and for me it was a very painful process because specifically around WhatsApp. WhatsApp on Android syncs to Google Drive, and in the iPhone it syncs to iCloud, and there was no way I could get the data from one platform to the other. It was a pain. Maybe now that they're using Google Cloud, something will change, but it was a very painful 3-day process, and I was very angry and I wanted to throw my iPhone away, but I kept it. So.
You kept it, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a bit too expensive to throw it away,
yes.
Right?
Yes. So it's definitely something that's interesting. So at the base level you still have iCloud, and then from there, the data is encrypted and then sent to the cloud, and I'm sure they send part of the data to S3, they send part of it to Google Cloud. So
so that's still kind of a rumor, as Alex said. But what we can say for sure is that Azure is no longer in the list of supported cloud from the Apple security guide of 2018. That's something we can say for sure. We'll monitor the evolution of all this, and we'll keep you posted if anything comes up.
And then, well, I guess one more thing that we can discuss before we wrap up is there's more consolidation in the market.
Yes, there is.
So Carbonite recently announced that they are acquiring Mozy, which for us, well, when we look at these acquisitions now, we're like, okay, that's great. But guys, if you're looking for an alternative, come to CloudBerry. We're stable, we're growing, we're not raising prices because Carbonite raises the pricing.
Yeah, acquisition
They
comes
have
always
to,
with some pricing
there's some
structure
caveats
changes,
and people
yeah.
are suffering and so on. So, I mean, and you will have the same problem with where you had CrashPlan, where CrashPlan users were recommended to switch to Carbonite, and a lot of people were saying, hey, but I came from Carbonite, I'm not going back there. You're definitely going to have the same scenario with Mozy users who say,
That's
well,
for sure.
yeah. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, obviously Carbonite is doing what they can to stay in business and to grow their business. But we
Which
are
makes
very,
sense. We
yeah,
understand that.
it does. But we are very stable in that sense, and we still offer you the same pricing. We have the same long, exhaustive list of cloud storage partners. And I was actually thinking about this on my way to work. In terms of how many different public cloud storage providers we support. So basically, we provide our customers with everything in terms of if you want to go for the Rolls-Royce or the Bentley of cloud storage, we have that. If you want to go for the Lexus, we have that as well. If you're a no-frills type of person, you want to go for the Camry or the Accord, we have that as well, and it works across the board. So whatever you need, we have you covered, and just drop us a line, and we'll be happy to have a conversation about your needs.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks.
We're done here. See you next time.
Yep.
And since then, take care.
Bye.